Yeah, the tricky thing here is we've got 4 games to go, haven't we? There's 5 players left in, 4 games to go. So this is a poor time to be called out for both these players, because they now need to go out there and win 4 straight matches to win the tournament, which is a tall order against anybody in the world on short races to 4. So I guess a poor time. Brilliant stuff for Josh Kane, by the way. He's into the final 4, guaranteed 4th place. Worst case scenario, he's doing the Declan Brennan role of last year. And of course, absolutely no guarantees. I think if Kristi Caulfield wins this match, I don't think he picks out Josh Kane, for example. I think he probably picks out Carl Sutton, because of Neil's being in good form. So I think he'd probably pick out Carl Sutton, then go Neil Raybone. I think if Kristi wins this match, I think Josh could be in the final without playing a match.
That would be a remarkable story, wouldn't it? Be a remarkable story for anybody, but it's not like Josh was the highest ranked player. It would perhaps have been less surprising if that had happened to Tom Cousins. But then, I mean, you hype people up. Tom Cousins, we've been talking about all day, finally comes out, and then it's a bit of an anti-climax in the end.
Yeah, I do think, I really do. Obviously, the reason I'm saying I don't think Kristi picks Josh is because they're friends from Coventry, but maybe he does. Maybe he wants to have that local rivalry. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, of course, if he did win and doesn't pick him in the first one, he can't pick him in the second one, so Josh would be safe for 2 in that scenario.
And obviously, if it does go down that way, maybe it is a case of, Josh could be sitting there going, come on, Kristi, you win 3, I'll play you in the final. Let's go. Let's do it.
Kristi played really well, playing our first 3 matches of this morning, which is why he got the hot seat. He's obviously going to be annoyed to be pulled out now, because this was the first match he was eligible for since then. But I mean, actually, he's going to be pretty pleased to have had that hot seat all day. That wasn't by any means guaranteed.
And he is playing really well. That's the point, isn't it? He played brilliantly earlier on today, and he's just continued here. This has been a perfect visit to the table for him. A very good start for Kristi Caulfield. Gets the first frame on the board as we are into the final 5. 4 matches remain, and nothing changes in the format. We are still races to 4. We are still 20 minutes.
With Tom, we sort of feel like this is a format that should be made for Chippy. Pretty good start. Big, powerful break.
Yeah, the challenge is the same, isn't it? That for all the players, I think right now it's going to be tough for Chippy and Josh Kane of the 5 players we have left, because they've got to go out there and find it straight away. We know Kristi's playing well. He's had some good table time. We know Neil's playing well because he's had some good table time. And whilst we haven't seen Carl Sutton today, he did play very well yesterday and had some really good table time. So for the 2 players that they'll be their first matches, this is Chippy's first match, they've got to try and find that rhythm straight away.
Although it was a big, powerful break, it's not turned out quite right, because the red is slightly blocked to the top right-hand corner. Red's obviously the better colour otherwise. Can look to play red off yellow here, potentially. Got to find some way of opening up that top right-hand corner pocket. Well, it went the other way. Sort of worked, but it sort of hasn't worked, because he's still got that red a bit tied up.
I think there's just enough room if he can get to the side cushion.
You know with Chippy that things are going to happen very quickly. For all the players on the tour, he spends the least time down on a shot, just to get down and hit the ball. Very useful for this format. He can spend all his time with the thinking, but then when he gets down to execute, no time is wasted.
Trying to get across a little bit further to play it now.
It's got one of those games that can sometimes look a bit careless, because when he plays so fast, he can slip out of position. His patterns are generally good, though. Is he on it this time? He may have just come too far again.
Slightly harder to get there off the last one. He's got to kind of get around the yellow. So he really does need to be there this time. He's looking at the other side now. Gap is smaller. There is a gap. And if he finds the gap, the angle's then great to get down for the 8 ball. This looks short. This is definitely short.
Always felt like this was going to be the problem ball. He's been chasing it around for a few shots now.
Kristi looking primed here to go 2-0 and have the break. Tough for Chippy because he had to work very hard. He just couldn't quite hit the small gap a couple of times, and what did he try? 4 times in the end, I think, to hit the gap. Couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, it's always costly if you end up missing your last ball. This is the kind of thing that tends to happen. But that's the way Chippy plays. He gets into these kind of situations not infrequently. He gets a very high percentage of his clearances, but that style of play does occasionally leave a ball orphaned. In this case, he couldn't get it. Looks like Kristi's going to pick up where he left off this morning. Or this afternoon, I guess, by the time he finished his run.
You know, and get their individual careers going with Ultimate Pool. Obviously, the reason I say 8-ball, golden break, it's 3-0, just like that. Everything going Kristi Caulfield's way. He had 2 golden breaks against him earlier on. Now he has 1 for him, and this was never anywhere else.
Shaun Chipperfield has sat around for best part of 2 days waiting for this match, and then it's all happened so fast.
It'd be a wry smile from Shaun there with a golden break going in, and it would just sum up his career with Ultimate Pool so far. He, ever present in the semi-finals, just can't find a way to break through and win a title. And he's been to finals, he's been to so many semi-finals now, quarterfinals on repeat, and losing in 5th place is essentially right in that position again, isn't it? It's I know he hasn't really earned it this time round, he's just had to sit around and wait, but it would be tough to take.
Yeah, I think it's starting to become a bit of an issue for him. I mean, it shouldn't be, and you know, we all tell him it's not, but it's hard for it not to play on your mind.
You say we all tell him it's not. I feel like I've had to ask him that question on an interview so many times now. I'm almost getting frustrated with having to ask that question. Is it becoming a factor? I think it is absolutely becoming a factor, although, you know, it's not that he's done much wrong here. He had a tough ball he couldn't land on in the only frame he's played before this one. It's not, you can't be critical of the way he's played. It's just what's happened with Kristi.
Oh yeah, for sure. He won't be too upset about this tournament. I mean, it's been an okay weekend. It's probably not the weekend he was expecting. He's sort of gone away with a friend and watched a bit of pool, and hopefully he's enjoyed that bit. But then this is what can happen. He plays very quickly and he plays very fluently, so he can easily get himself back into the match. Will he get 3 more chances?
We might have to get the clock on that one. Definitely the quickest break clearance of the weekend, no doubt about that. But how quick was it? It was well under a minute. Got that 8-ball tracking again down to that bottom corner. Refuses to go in this time, but he does get last ball rolling. And he has a lovely layout if he has an opening red. It's not a terrible layout. If he has to go yellows, which he can go yellows quite comfortably here, there's only 1 on the cushion, and that's not difficult to deal with.
I think more often than not he played the right shots this morning. It wasn't just the quality of the execution. He just seemed to really be in the zone, which was ironic because people were kind of joking sort of almost the exact opposite. He was very hasty to play, and you know, people were saying, is he ready for a serious match? But I mean, actually he really was when he got out on the table.
I just think he's a... People were saying they wanted to play him late last night. I think he's a fabulous player and an inspirational player. I would have been low down on my list of players to call out for sure.
Yeah, he certainly will be now. And in fact, it's not really going to be much of a factor because he's just going to have to keep playing. He's going to get down to the last couple still at the table, so he's going to have to do this the hard way. He's going to have to win 6 matches today if he's going to get towards that title match. And then he'd have to win a 7th match at a minimum to win the title.
Well, it is 4 straight from here, isn't it? There's 5 in. So he'd have to win the next 4, 3 after this. There's a couple of pots away. Touch short on that one. Just a touch. Maybe he has to play this with a tracer running side, but then wants to make sure he doesn't go past the straight. Just that extra turn on that previous shot would have helped. played it too well. Absolutely died it in. He's got too much angle.
Yeah, I think he thought that was possible, erring on the side of underdoing it.
Yeah, and that's cost him. Make the case he should have taken that one long, in all honesty. If he takes it long, he just gets the cue ball just underneath the right centre pocket, and he's got a thin clip for the match. Yeah,
I mean, it's a bit inexcusable anytime you've got potential to get a shot for the match, not to get on it. I guess he thought didn't expect, obviously, this position.
He did brush off the 8 ball. I think he was trying to brush off the 8 ball, play it with side and come back and pot it. But that's the little bit of hope that Shaun Chipperfield needed. Now he needs to find the counter and then a break clearance and ask a big question of Kristi Caulfield in the deciding frame.
Great spot for a counter-attack though. Can't really ask for much more when you're 3-1 down. Somebody presents you this position. Nice angle there to drop on the only two that are together. You know this is going to happen so quickly. That's the thing. If you're going to put Shaun down, you've either got to win all the frames or make sure you've really used up the time, because it's not going to take him long to get back into the match. It's going to be Shaun's break next, as you say.
Just enough angle here. Doesn't want to be absolutely straight. Just worked hard to get to the left-hand side of it. And simple 8 ball.
Well, that mistake from Kristi Caulfield has cost him 1 frame when it cost him more than 1. Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. There aren't many times in pool where who you're friends with affects your prospects in a tournament, but that actually is the situation here.
Oh, Cuba was so close. But nothing else drops. And it's another good layout. It is another good layout. One on the cushion, but easy access to it. He's going to take the yellows on here. Yellow that he's nearest to isn't bad. You can get access to it. Yeah, this is pretty good. Considering the mistake he made in the previous frame, this is probably more than he could have hoped for.
Sometimes when you let slip one of those chances, you don't get a better one. This time he has got a second chance. It wasn't a major mistake in the last frame. It wasn't like he sort of twitched the ball or something like that. It was a positional error, so probably a bit easier to forget about. Plus, as we've talked about repeatedly, he's not really somebody that seems to dwell on past mistakes.
He's got a little bit too, that little flick on the way through. He's got too much angle here. He can't drop this in and hold for the yellow. That does change things because he's got no other yellow to play. Yeah, he's even looking at coming past it and maybe even taking it to top left. Good angle there to see, just way too much angle, and that's in no man's land. Shaun Chipperfield has hope.
Yeah, that's a poor shot. Should have at least given himself a chance. That was just a nothingy shot.
Well, nothing easy on here for Shaun, but he's got a chance at the table, and that's all he could hope for. And he does have a pot on. There's a couple of pots on. Could play safe, of course, but that feels as risky as the pot.
Could and should have lost this match 4-1, so already feeling fortunate to be in it. Goes for the long shot, middle of the pocket.
Yeah, calm as you like. He just, easiest thing in the world for him just to pop balls, isn't it?
Just look at the 2 balls on the right-hand side cushion. I think they're just off being a plant, which means that they're going to be the trouble in this clearance. He's got time on his side, so doesn't have to continue with the clearance. He can bail out and play a safety shot, maybe off the 2 on the side cushion at some point to open them up if he can't find a route into them.
It might come to that as well. He doesn't have an angle to go into them now. He could try and squeeze the plant and play it as a shot to nothing, but I don't think it's close enough to do that. I think he's absolutely straight here, and he not maybe even half a turn the wrong way, so he can't even pick the pocket to try and get across. Now that he's potted, oh, he's going to pull back now. I was about to make the point, if he pots one more and then plays safe, that's a poor shot from Shaun. Had to pop those reds into play, had to pop them open. I was about to make the point that, you know, one good escape from Kristi might not leave anything on for Shaun, but Shaun's caused his own problems there.
Yeah, because if he's separated those two balls and he's pretty much guaranteed to be left a shot, it wouldn't have been a nice one in this position, but he'd been left something, whereas whatever Kristi did there, he still had the problem with the two balls tied up.
That's come out really nicely for Kristi as well, because he's knocked the yellow over the bottom right corner pocket. Yeah, disappointment for Shaun, because that wasn't too bad to pop those open, just got double kiss. I thought that was a foul, but maybe not. Must have just feathered the red on the way through. Missed that one. Didn't matter anyway for Kristi. He had the yellow over the pocket. Shaun's already picked up his cues and all his bits and pieces. He's ready to go. And a simple 8-ball for Kristi Caulfield to finally win this match. Probably should have won it 4-1 and 4-2. Gets a second opportunity to win it 4-2 and takes it. Kristi Caulfield into the final four. And just like Tom Cousins in the match before him, Shaun Chipperfield has had to wait around for 2 full days. Finally gets out to the table, and it doesn't happen for him.
Now, the most important thing is Shaun was a hitman. So, yeah, he just remembered. We could be about to be making some more memories for Kristi Caulfield. So Shaun was a hitman, which means you have 2 options here. Either you are going to get yourself a second instant win, another 500 quid, or that 500 quid is going to go on your head. I know which one you want, because you're a greedy boy. Let's see what you're going to get. Let's find out Kristi Caulfield's prize for defeating hitman Shaun Chipperfield. Unlucky, mate.
Well, enough for twice, was it?
No, I think once was enough, but it does mean you are a bounty. You are now a hitman, which, well, I suppose if you end up winning the tournament, not a bad thing. It's another 500 quid bonus, and that's what you got to do at this stage. So not the end of the world, hey. But we do now have to find out your next opponent. Your option is limited. Not many players left in this one. Are you calling out first of all, or are you going to the random draw?
I'm going to call out.
Who do you fancy?
I'm not going to call out Josh, he's my pal, so I'm going to call out... Oh, man, let's go with... Anyone want it?
What do you think?
Let's go with... Let's give Carl a game. He had a game for a while.
All right, Carl, in you come. In you come. Plenty of action yesterday for Carl Sutton, but first match today.